Hello, everyone, and welcome back to spring 2026 semester. Dr. Allen here from Education 380. Um, this video is actually the first of our semester-long, meetings for our asynchronous class. Just to kind of give you a little background on the video first before I jump into the class itself. I do these videos mostly every week. Some weeks, if there's something that I don't think a video is needed, I may use an old one or something. But by and large, the whole semester, you'll get a weekly video, usually in about 10 to 15 minutes in length. Sometimes I get a little long-winded though, so don't hold me to that. Sometimes they might go 20, 25 minutes. They are here to help. And also just kind of a disclaimer, I try to do them in one take. So there might be some ums and ums or me like being very moving. I just go. I would do that in class. So I usually just think if I'm going to do it in class, I'm just going to do it here. And if not, I would just be making videos probably throughout the week if I wanted to get them perfect. So by and large, they're here to help. I'll probably push right through on most things unless it's an absolute disaster. And then you might see a little bit of editing. With that being said, really the purpose of this video for the first week is to kind of get us all on the same page to talk about the course, what's the expectations are, the assignments, things of that nature. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and go in. Our homepage obviously has announcements and things like that. I'm not going to break down Brightspace too much, but everything will be linked. I'll update that. I haven't gotten a chance to do that. That's a weekend job. I'm recording this actually on the 8th, Thursday the 8th, and I'm still fine tuning a couple things on the course, but most everything's up. In terms of today, I'm going to look at the syllabus first, and then we do have one small assignment that's due the following week. So for this class, we're going to actually operate basically from Monday at midnight, or I guess 12:01, and then go to 11:59 on the following Sunday. I am pretty good about checking email. If you don't hear back from me in about a 24-hour period, make sure that you feel free to contact me and things of that nature. Also, just in case I forget to say it when I'm babbling here about the syllabus, my office hours are actually going to get updated. I have a little more field students this semester, so I want to make sure I have enough time to do those. But by and large, I'm here Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'm sorry, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And usually Tuesday, I might have a early afternoon office hours, and then Wednesdays and Mondays are usually the mornings, but I am floating around a lot, so feel free to stop by. I'm in office 114C. That is, if you know where history is, I'm actually right next to Dr. Brasher. If you know where Miss James and Miss Baker are, I'm kind of in that U. Right when you walk into the front of Canuti, I'm like pointing at it like you can see. You just walk straight through. There's the big TV, and I'm in the back of the U. So feel free to stop by if you have any questions. Just because we're an asynchronous course does not mean that you can't come by and talk and things like that. All right, let's go ahead and jump in under content. And as you can see here, week one's already up, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But if you ever need the syllabus, it is located right here. And it is up and rolling. There's my office hours. I'll get those updated on the front page. But we go on Mondays, I'll be here from 11 to 1, Tuesdays 12 to 2, and Wednesdays 10 to 12. And again, that's just my official office hours. I'm here, or if there's some time that you really need to meet with me, or if you feel like you do, just email me and we can set something up. Again, these are just the official ones. That doesn't mean that I can't be here any other time or won't be here any other time. Email, I only deal with Shepherd email. That's something that we try to do as a university. My email is right there. Please, by and large, if you communicate with me, make sure you do it from your Shepherd email. Mostly because I don't want it to go to junk if you email from like a Gmail or something like that. Sometimes it doesn't get to me, or I don't think to look in Gmail or something like that. Gmail, junk mail. So I'm not going to go over all of this word for word. I will just say this. This class, I think, is actually kind of fun. It's 380 Innovative Technology. If you are a graduate student, it's actually Education 500. But by and large, they're both educational technology. That's the easiest way to think about it. And what we're going to do in this class, the course description kind of highlights this, but we're going to talk about technology that you may use in the classroom. I will give this disclaimer. You will probably not use a lot of this technology, but hopefully you'll find something that you really do like and you might implement it in your classroom. I've been kind of the last couple semesters altering some of this technology we're looking at, mainly because AI is changing everything. There's no other way to put it. So there's starting to become more and more AI tech that's being used in the field. I know some people are resistant to it, but I do think it is something we need to look at in some of the tools. So there's a couple weeks where we're going to actually look at AI type education tools, but there's also some old standbys like Kahoot and Nearpod and things like that. A lot of the things that we're going to look at in this class, what's so funny is when I started teaching, it was before the pandemic. It was like everyone's like, "Whoa, what is this?" Now, a lot of people have seen a lot of the cool stuff that used to be, I guess, ultra cool. Now it's like, oh my gosh, not another Kahoot or something like that. But it's educational technology. If you're worried about how this course aligns, there's all the objectives and the standards that it aligns to. Class attendance. I know it says here, this is kind of the general catch-all. You must attend every week. For our class, that means log in and do the assignments. We're an asynchronous course. There's no live meetings, just to make sure we're on the same page with this. This is an asynchronous course. There is no official time that we meet. I will do these videos. These videos are kind of what I do, so you at least can put, for better or worse, my face with this class. And maybe for better or worse, my voice with this class. That's kind of it. Asynchronous, as long some people do like a little bit of work all through the week. Some people just wait until, one day and just do it. You'll see the layout. There's kind of a flow to how we do assignments in this class, which I think seems to work. Some people like to do all the assignments like as soon as I open them on Monday, they just do them Monday and they're done. Some people wait until the Sunday that they're due. I don't care. I wait until the week's out usually to grade. So I'm kind of calibrated and can kind of grade everyone's stuff at once. But either works. So with that being said, I do not have my copy of this book right in front of me. I'm in my office. And I think I left it at my home office. But Tech Like a Pirate is the book that we use in this class. It's it's just a book about using technology in the classroom. As you can see, I almost went with another book this time, but I stuck with it. It was from 2020. It's still got some good points to make. So I thought we'll stick with it. It seems like most people like it. It's kind of a practical book. It's not really an ed theory book. It's just about actual skills you can use in the classroom. So we're going to go with it. That's what our discussion boards are always revolving around. It's the Tech Like a Pirate readings. So you are going to buy the book and you will have some assignments, i.e. the discussion boards that relate to it. In terms of work, academic integrity, just, make sure it's your own work. Obviously, when we're doing stuff like we're working with AI, what you're going to submit is what it does. And we'll talk about that. But there are some alignments to standards and stuff that we're going to do. I do ask if you could, please make sure that's your work. It's a good skill to have. And as you get farther in the program, you're going to have to do these for EdTPA. Tutoring, all that, there's the information if you feel that you need it. If you have any issues, though, please contact me. I mean, I'm sure we can make things work. I don't think this class, in terms of the technology, if anything frustrates you, just contact me first. It's supposed to be a class to help you in the field more than frustrate you, if that makes any sense. There's some other general policies as a university. Our grading breakdown, which is probably what most people are most interested in. There's a few things. There is one thing that I call the lesson plan brainstorming assignment. I'll talk about that. That's not until towards the end of the class or towards the end of the course. We have people that are pre-juncture, post-juncture, graduate students. We have a big mix in this class. So this isn't like a hardcore unit plan. It's just an assignment where you'll be using some of the technology that we talk about in this class and how you would envision using it in the classroom. We'll talk more about that as we get closer to the assignment, but that's only a one assignment thing. The discussion boards I kind of already mentioned. They're revolving around Tech Like a Pirate, usually with a chapter where I'll kind of have a prompt. That's where I guess I kind of mentioned it quickly where I said, make sure things are your own work. Please, 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 please don't just type the prompt in and ask AI to give you a response. only because we're starting to get things that can kind of pick that up. Most of the time I will ask you just to put it up in your own words. But if it would become a trend, just be careful, I guess is the easiest thing I can say. Also, I do ask, I'm really into quality more than quantity. But with that being said, I think most people are comfortable having a number to kind of shoot for with the discussion post. That is, I usually shoot for 150 words. I think you can kind of make your points in that. You're welcome to go over that. And if you were like 149 and the post is really, really good, you'll get full credit. I will say 150 is a little on the lower end of sometimes on the word count. So make sure it's a really good post if you're going for the 150. I do read them. We're a big class, but usually I'll sit down in one sitting and just kind of start to read them. So make sure you do that. I'm supposed to read them, so I guess I don't know why I'm saying that. Classroom resources, that's really the heart of the class. That's the technology. And what we're going to do each week with our technology is I will assign something. We're going to kind of do a light trial run this week with one. But for example, I'll just use Nearpod. I use Nearpod a lot. I've been using it for a long time. When we're making our Nearpods, you're going to make a Nearpod and you're going to post it. That's going to be your assignment. That's the resource. And we'll look at different ones. Then you're going to also do, I always call them blogs, but they're kind of just a reflection. I just want your feedback on the technology, whether you think you would use it or whether you wouldn't. I do not have a word count on there because you literally for the blogs can say, I love the technology, thumbs up. I can see me using this once a week. I hate the technology. I don't know what I would ever do with this. I don't see that working with my discipline, thumbs down. To use the Rotten Tomatoes thing, not fresh. The blogging is really your opinion. I usually don't comment on the blogs because I feel like they're your opinions and I don't want to like try to step over them. Because there are some texts that I feel like might work for one discipline really well and maybe they won't work for another. But again, kind of just your call, just your thoughts, things of that nature. Sorry, I just heard someone knock. That was but blogging, it's just the thoughts. And again, these don't have to be 150 words. So, and then at the end of the course, we're going to do the Apple certification for teachers. We'll talk about this. You do not need to have any type of Apple product to do this. So feel free to, complete. We'll talk about that. That's the final for the course. Again, something towards the end. And then there's the technology certification, the Google AI. That's something we'll do in the middle, around midterm. Again, it's just something you get a little certificate. It's a nice thing to put on your resume and it gets you some familiarity with some AI type tools. Again, these two we'll talk about when we get there. This will be towards the end. These right here, 2, 3, and 4, those are the heart of the class. Each week you will have one technology, one discussion, and then you're going to blog on one technology. Some weeks I give you choices on which technology you want to use. So you can pick one and just blog on one, but really most weeks you can just think about it this way. I'm going to do blog, technology, discussion, or technology, blog, discussion. However you want to do it, that's fine. But those three things are usually the heart of the class. 10 points each, boom, 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 boom. So that's the assignments. That's the class. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a breakdown of the points. There's some of the technology that we're going to look at. A lot of them might look familiar. Edpuzzle, I need to update that because I just actually added something that you can do in lieu of Edpuzzle. The Google LM AI, I'll fix that. I just caught that I did that. So, but no big deal there. We experimented with that last semester and it seemed to be very, very, very popular. I think I fixed it on here and not on that other chart. So up there it is. Yep. Boom. Makeup work, by and large, I do expect everything to be in on the due date, which again will be 11:59 on the Sunday. The final is actually due on a Wednesday, but we'll talk about that when we get to that point. But if there's an emergency or if you know ahead of time, just contact me. Again, I understand stuff happens, or maybe you're backed up on work. That's fine. Sometimes I'm a little backed up on grading, so if I haven't gotten a chance to look at something, there is a small deduction for lateness, but if it's something that you can't help, or obviously, hopefully not, but it's there's an illness or something like that, obviously, just reach out. Basically, what I'm saying is if you know ahead of time that you're not going to be able to get something in, just let me know. Don't just let it sit there. AI, I kind of mentioned it. It's kind of weird. We're going to actually do a lot of AI stuff in here, but do your own work, especially related to like discussion posts and the lesson plans and things like that. There's a breakdown of the weeks. As you can see, it has the readings. The Tech Like a Pirate is it's kind of the heart of the readings in this class. It'll talk about the failed approach and things like that next week. Also, 21st century skills are something you're going to hear me reference, and I will give you the list next week, the week of the 19th. Those are, I don't know, I'm starting to feel a little old, but in 1999 and 2000, everyone was like, this is the skills that we're going to need for the 21st century. They were the skills that everyone used in the 20th century, just reworded, I think. That's my opinion on it, but they're still important. And when we do the lesson plan assignment, you line them up and we'll talk about them. They're things like they're called the 4 C's, but like collaboration, communication, things like that. Uh, they're good skills. That's just, I think it's kind of the old saying, what is new is what was old is new again. I think I'm saying that right. What was old is new again. That's kind of what I felt like the 21st century skills are. And I still hear them referenced, but we're over a quarter of the way through the century now. I'll show some things. Sometimes you'll see where you won't have an assignment. You'll see things like plan book showing. I might give you a little shout out to that if you want to see it. There won't be an assignment with it though. So just like a Quizlet, I think at this point everyone knows what a Quizlet is. But that's kind of the breakdown of the class. Just in case you needed to know, the last date of withdrawal is for 10/26 for a full withdrawal. So that's the class in a nutshell. The syllabus will be posted. I'll make these small little corrections before Monday. I kind of catch this. I always think I catch everything, and then when I do this video, I always mess up and see one or realize that I omitted something. Now, with that being said, being an online asynchronous class, we don't see each other obviously face to face. It is nice for me to put a face with a name if I can. So that's where our first kind of, I guess it's an icebreaker / technology type assignment is going to be. If you look at the syllabus, I'll just go ahead and scroll down here. It says on here, course introductions and requirements. And then we're going to talk about Google Arts and Culture. And then you're going to do a discussion, and then you're going to do a Google Arts and Culture, and then you're going to do a blog. I mentioned the 3 things: tech, discussion, blog. That's kind of good to get you in the flow. So basically, this week we're going to do Google Arts and Culture. I could kick myself because I don't think I posted my bio on the discussion page. Did I? I did not, but that's okay. Our first assignment, our first technology, I have the links here, are Google Arts and Culture. What you need to do, and I'll send these directions out too if you need them. If you go to this, it's just called a phone or your iPhone, you need to download what's called the Google Arts and Culture app. There is a website also, I put it on here, but for the assignment that you need to do Google Arts and Culture. When you get there, hopefully you can see it, but there's like a black and sign there. That's the Google Arts and Culture. And when you click that, you will click the Google Arts and Culture, and it'll pull up, and then slowly it'll pull up. And if you look, there's different things that you can do on it, but you can hit something called an art selfie. I don't know if you can see it. Mine's like right down there. It says, play with your camera, and it says art selfie and art selfie 2. What I want you to do is click that. You're going to take a selfie with it. And what it does is it matches you up to a photo, a historical photo. If you really are not comfortable doing it, that's fine. But just post your photo up on the discussion board and just give a little bit of a background to yourself on there. Like, for example, I'll put a model up for you so you can kind of see it. But like I would say, Dr. Allen, I've worked at Shepherd now full-time for 7 years. I was a middle school teacher for I think it was about 17 years. Did middle school social studies. My hobbies are basically hiking, traveling, reading, and golfing. Kind of basic level stuff, but I enjoy all of them and watching a lot of movies too. I do that. Um, things I'm looking forward to this class. I always like meeting new people. I feel like this is my one time that I get to see and meet everyone that's in the education program. So it's nice for me to be able to put names to faces and things like that. Um, and just post that on there and just a little background on yourself. That's the first thing. So you're using the technology, one, the arts, Google Arts and Culture. Two, you're doing discussion, and then just review down here in the blog. I'll have the links up. I'll show you where they are. Of course, I'm a ding dong because I didn't. There it is. And you just put review. And actually, I don't know if I have the links there just yet. Let me go look. Hopefully I was smart enough and I did it. Oh, yep, they're right there. And there you go. And you see there's the directions for the Google Arts and Culture. I kind of showing you without putting them up there. Download the Google Arts and Culture app, scroll to find the art selfie, and then tap Get Started. There's also one where it does something with AI and can put you in historical spots. You can do that on the, I think that's called Art Selfie 2. And put it on there. And you can actually say if you think the image actually looks like you or not. I think the highest image we have seen percentage wise, I think we had a 79 or an 81 percentage match one time. And it was pretty wild. I mean, the person did look like them, I thought, but they may not have thought that. But just go ahead and do the assignment, post it up on the discussion board right here, and just do a little background on yourself. And I'll have mine up before Monday, so you can kind of hear about me, and then just give your little background. That's it. Again, this should be, I have to admit, with the art selfie or the Google Arts and Culture, I said 150 words for discussion. I just want to see who you are. So if it doesn't quite meet 150, I will live on the first one. And then the second one, you just remember with blogs, you can get in and out, so to speak. So if you think you can do the blog and the review in 1 to 2 sentences, that's fine. That applies for every assignment or every tech. The blog just can be a sentence or two. The discussion normally needs to be 150. First week, it's fine because you're just giving a little bit about yourself. So that's it. Hopefully I didn't babble too much. If you have any questions, please reach out to me anytime. But like I say, I think it's a fun class. It's not supposed to be a hard class. And what I mean by that is as long as you do the work, you're fine. There are people who sometimes do get tripped up in this class, and normally it is just for one reason. They don't do the work, or they only do the work. It's not hard work. It's just there's a routine to it. So just make sure that you do the assignments and you put a little bit of effort into it. You'll be fine. Class, like I say, should be a lot of fun. So with all that being said, I hope everyone has a great semester. Stop by if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.